And you're trying to tell, because all I'm thinking is you're trying to tell me I'm not providing for my son.
Yeah. Is that when your problems were started?
No, my problems were starting from long before that.
Yeah.
The confusion of me always being there when I'm not really supposed to be there because the relationship's not there. But yeah, it was so different, and I feel like I did a lot of things wrong. It's more about being difficult. Okay, I was supposed to have him one day, and then no, you're not having him this week. I'm doing something, I'm busy. It's like, well, hold on, we
made
already
arrangements.
discussed that. So why are you putting your personal feelings now? So when she said what she said, my blood boiled differently, and I booted her door. She shut the door. I was knocking on it, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to the Baby Fathers podcast for another brand new episode. First things first, I'd like to say Happy New Year to everybody. Now listen, before I start this podcast today, there is so many of you who watches this podcast but not subscribed to the channel. So all I ask you not to do, something very simple, and obviously it will help us big down at the Baby Fathers, is please press that subscribe button. So anytime an episode comes out, you're going to be the first to know. And more people who subscribe to our channel, the bigger the guest gets, all right? So that's what we need you to do for us right now, all right? Excellent. So on today's show, we've got a brand new guest. He goes by the name of Caleb. Caleb, how you doing, my bro?
I'm good, man. Proper good.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Thank you for coming down today on today's show.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, man.
Just to let people know as well, I got a bit of a cold, all right? So if my voice sounds a bit mad today, is I'm recovering from this cold.
Yeah,
right?
I know. Need that cold now.
So I believe you got 2 kids for 2 different mothers.
Yeah.
Age?
7 2.
7 and 2, and obviously, okay, cool. So what I want to do, I want to get to the start at the early stage of mother one. Kind of just start from the beginning, man.
Yeah, that's cool. So young love, I would definitely say I was like, 19? I think she was about 17. And got in a relationship. It was definitely rocky from the start, kind of. I think about 3 months in, there was a lot of difficulties, a lot of drama. We was due to have a child at that point in time, but sadly, we had to make a tough decision to not have the child, and I think that put a massive strain on like our relationship. And I think, like when you're in love, innit, like you're just blind, you don't even see certain things. I think during that time we didn't realize how bad we was together. And because we were so young, we didn't have a lot of support. It was just kind of us two trying to figure it all out. So time's gone by. We've gone, had all the mad arguments, late nights, early mornings. And we broke up at one point, but then somehow, got back together again. And then during that time, things still wasn't great, but.
So let me ask you a question. When you're talking about dramas, what kind of dramas was happening between you, the two of you?
So I think it was just like a lot of trust issues. Like she had a lot of trust issues with myself. I think she had like a lot of, maybe past traumas that she hadn't dealt with in herself. And it kind of brought to our relationship. So then, we're arguing about, oh, you're looking at that girl. I'm like, no, my head's down here. Like, I ain't even, do you know what I mean? And then, just other little things. I think, like I said, she just had a lot of trust issues that then created a lot of drama. And then, I was kind of the guy that was like, let me do the man thing. And like, I'm going to stand by and that.
So you lot thought by having a child was going to solve your lot's problems?
You know what? Yeah, at the time, I did.
Then what happened from after that? So obviously you've had the baby.
Yeah,
the relationship is rocky.
Yeah, so we've had our son now. Relationship still isn't, where I would like it to be. Like a lot of arguing, police being called over, like silliness, like whether she called them or someone's called them.
So was they calling them based on you both from the arguing side?
Yeah. Based on the arguing, loud noise. Do you know what I mean? And obviously her just calling them for whatever her reasons was in terms of calling them.
And when she's called the police, what was the allegation she was making?
So she was trying to say that I was basically beating her up, and that, that was basically the allegation that time. I can't remember if she did call another time. She has before, but I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, man, that's how it was. And then I got to a point basically where I felt very uncomfortable being, like, having my son in that environment, like, of us back and forth arguing, my son's, do you know what I mean, in the cot, like, just watching it, and I'm just thinking like this is mad. So I had to make that decision of, do you know what I mean, like,
moving out.
Yeah, just had to go at the time. I can't remember how old I was now, like 20, 23 or something. But yeah, I thought, like, it's the best thing to do if we can't, you know, work this out.
And how did she take that when you decided to pick up herself and move out?
Yeah, not great.
Yeah,
not great. I think that I feel like played a big part in our co-parenting relationship as to why that wasn't good. Because I think where we had built something together, it's kind of like I just gave up. Like, maybe that's how she saw it. Like, you just gave up. You said you was gonna, you know, be there. Yeah, you're gonna go through this, and you're gonna, but now you don't want to be with me. And obviously, all I can see is I don't want to be with you because I don't want our son to be in this and us.
Toxic relationship, basically.
Exactly. I didn't want him to be brought up in all this. So I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously when I've now moved out, gone back to mum's, and that I was still, like, around. Like, I've always been present anyway, but I was always around the house still. Like, I'd look after him.
So you're being active. You're coming around.
I was very active. Always active. So yeah, she would go college or do something, and I'd just be like just chilling with my son, doing all. Do you know what I mean, at our house. Looking back on it now, I don't know if that was the best thing to do, because the confusion of me always being there when I'm not really supposed to be there because the relationship's not there.
So I'm gonna ask your take on that then. If you are still messing around with your baby mother, but you're not with her, do you don't think that that's gonna cause more of a emotional attachment where you're gonna be creating more problems on the further line for yourself?
1,000%, like 1,000%. I think that's definitely the biggest form in my situation. That was the biggest problem. I think being there and acting like we're together, and like what you said, having this emotional attachment, all these feelings coming back, and then really we're not together. So then when I'm now parting ways and I'm going, she's left with however she's feeling. And that's not healthy, obviously, you know, in terms of trying to raise a child even though you're not together. So I definitely, that's a big no.
Because I feel sometimes this is where the confusion in people who has kids with each other, for one who maybe hasn't let go to the other one who maybe let go, and then you're having this where some mothers are then being spiteful of saying you can't see your child, or a father, because he's not getting access to the mum, he's turning around and saying, I'm not giving you no money. Yeah. So you see, there's two different ways.
It's true.
You understand?
And I think one thing definitely, like, in my situation, I think that was the key issue, is that because there was no boundary in place, and where I felt so comfortable, like, I'd just go to the house. Like, yeah, I'm coming round. Yeah, okay, fine.
And that was it.
You know what I mean? And it took both of us, but I think because there was still feelings there, it made it a bit more easier. And like, in terms of not having the boundaries, you're just not even thinking about it because there's them feelings there. So you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna come round. It's cash, it's normal. Like, when really it's not. Like, if you've made that decision to be like, yeah, cool, we can't be together.
So you have another child with a different woman. How did she take that?
Who?
Your first baby mother.
She didn't take that well. Yeah,
Is that when your problems all started?
No, my problems were starting from long before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to go back, my problems mainly started when I entered a new relationship.
Okay.
So when I entered that, that's when things just changed dramatically. Like things wasn't that great. Like we had arguments about, you know, little things like, oh, you don't do enough or you don't do anything. Her behavior changed. I had to literally, I remember getting a call from the hospital chatting about, I need to come pick up my son. He needs to come basically stay with you. And he was basically then put in my care for about 7 to 9 months.
Why was that?
She was going through something.
So would we say she was going through a depression?
You could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, she was going through her stuff. And they felt, when I say they, I mean like
the hospital.
You know, hospital and that felt that he needed to be with obviously someone else, being me. And then he was in my care for the period of time that I was saying. And even then, like she was like, she thought it was me. She thought I called social services on her. She thought I was just trying to get rid of her and like take my son and have a whole new relationship. It was never that.
And how did you feel dealing with that, being a full-time father at that time?
Yeah, it was very different. Even that, like I think just being, you know, it gave me a whole new understanding of like single mums, what they have to, you know, go through in terms of the routine, dealing with the children, going to, do you know what I mean? Like, gave me a whole new like appreciation. But yeah, it wasn't easy. Thankfully, I had like support. I was at my mum's at the time, so she didn't mind like helping out. My sisters would help out. But yeah, it was so different, and I feel like I did a lot of things wrong, and I wasn't considerate even to his mum, because like I said, I was in a relationship, and sometimes I would kind of put that not before my son, but I do things not thinking about how it might make her feel. For example, like bringing him around
the new girl,
the new partner, while all this is going on. Do you know what I mean? Like just little things like that. Like had I like maybe thought about it differently and thought, oh no, like maybe that might make things worse between me and her. Or maybe, you know, how she's feeling, that's not going to help.
But let me just stop you there, because this is something kind of important.
Yeah.
Because what I do see a lot of, which is also on our page, on the Baby Fathers page and stuff, that people are not thinking about the other person's feelings.
Yeah.
They're only thinking about theirs.
Yeah.
So one of my things was, what I was always struggling against is, I wouldn't bring my child around another woman unless the mum was cool about it. Or unless everyone's on the same page, innit? Because some people get to different places differently.
Yeah.
Some people think, this guy, he's chatting madness. Like, I don't care. If I want to bring my partner around my child, I can do that. No one can't tell me nothing. Now, I get it to a certain degree, but if we're talking about co-parenting and we're talking about working with each other, it's not about making the other person feel uncomfortable.
100%.
It's about making, everyone needs to be on that same page, and some people might take longer to get there, but it doesn't mean, which you obviously took accountability for, it doesn't mean you go out your way to do something and say, I don't care about that person. Because I think this is the problem that we seem to be having in co-parenting, that everybody wants to do their thing.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm doing my thing, no one can't tell me nothing. But I do think,
I 100% agree with everything you're saying. I think that is our problem. We just, like you said, we just think about our feelings. Oh, I don't need to call and say that I'm going to bring him at whatever time, or I'm going to do this, and because it's my life now.
Yeah.
And my child's with me now, so you can't tell me nothing. It's like, well, like what you're saying, everyone has to be on the same page to have a healthy co-parenting
100.
relationship where everyone, do you know what I mean, can get along, at least get along. Don't have to be
best friends.
Yeah, it don't have to be that. But
it's not making that person feel uncomfortable or upset when that child goes, and that's on vice versa. That's on both sides, mum and dad's.
It's true. Going back to when my son was in my care, that was definitely something that I had done that probably didn't help our situation at times. A lot of it is like what you're saying, me thinking about my feelings, like just carelessly acting, doing things that think make sense but doesn't make, isn't necessarily right. But then, he then went back into our care. I remember the next month I was working Royal Mail. I was doing postman. I remember I was just doing my walk and I get a call and they're saying, "Oh, it's CSA." I'm like, huh? I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
What? Hold on, CSA? Like, yeah, we've, been contacted by your son's mum. You need to start paying this. I'm like, hold up. And you're trying to tell, because all I'm thinking is you're trying to tell me I'm not providing for my son.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking, obviously I'm thinking, right, she called them and she's acting like I don't do nothing. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, right, hold on, I've just had my son for how long? So how can you now going to tell me I'm not doing the right thing? I'm not paying money. I'm not doing this. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Basically, this is where it is.
So do you take CSA like a disrespect? If a woman phones CSA and a man, do you take that as like a disrespect?
No, it depends. It depends. I think as parents, you should be able to just decide, cool, I would like this much because this is what I might need help with. Can you pay that? All right, cool, I can pay that. Done. I think when CSA does get involved, like what I was saying to you, all I'm instantly thinking, and maybe other dads or whoever felt it too, you're telling me I'm not providing for my child. Like, you're telling me I'm not doing this. Like, how are you putting me, like, now the government's onto me, like they're gonna be chasing me down for money, and do you know what I mean? I think it's not the nicest thing. But if you're in like, let's say a mom is in a situation where dad's not paying at all, like it's a struggle, like anytime you're trying to ask for something, it's an excuse, or do you know what I mean? Then, do you know what I mean? Your child is still, has a right to, he's still responsible for your child. So
100.
why shouldn't he pay money if you got a call CSA
So
for that?
do you think the system is against the fathers when you talk about CSA? Do you say that it's against the fathers on the way how to operate with the fathers?
It's mad. To an extent, like I said, I didn't even have a leg to stand on. Like, they just told me, yeah, you're paying this. There's nothing you can do. In that sense, I was like, what? I can't show you no proof, bank statements. No, don't matter. This is what you're paying now. It's like they kind of tried to come across as like a third party, like to be involved to,
But that's my only problem with CSA is when their father doesn't see his child, CSA are very quick to get involved and tell you this is what you have to pay. When you're telling CSA, but hold on a minute, I don't even get to even see my child. What are you telling me? Yeah, they would say to you, that's nothing to do with us. All we are telling you to do is this is what you have to pay. If you want to see your child, you have to go to court, whatever it is. So I find that the moms will get the support from CSA to tell you this is what you have to pay. But I don't find that fathers get the support to be told, hold on a minute, here's the support to get to see your child in regarding to this is how much you have to pay. Because it can't be 1 minute, your money's good. Your money's good. But you're not good enough to see your child. You see what I'm trying to tell you? So I think that's where fathers get frustrated in terms of you're phoning me and telling me this is what I have to pay. But when I'm telling you I'm not able to even see my child, the attitude is, well, there's nothing we can do about this. And if you want to, you have to go court, which means you have to pay even more money. So I think the energy, they need to start looking at it, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, do you know what I mean? Not being able to see your child, but then having, like, that's what I mean. There needs to be something, like what you're saying, something needs to be looked at in terms of all that. Like, there has to be something.
And I'm not putting out there because I'm telling you, every father should pay for their child,
100.
regardless,
100.
But I'm just talking about the system.
Yeah.
The system is not designed for fathers to see their child. It's I don't care. And this is what you have to pay, and that's it.
I get what you're saying. Still, there needs to be like a support of some sort that comes with it. All right, cool. Like even like just a helpline. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, to say, okay, cool. So you can't see your child. All right, then we're gonna refer you on to so and so or this.
Thank you.
Do you know
or we're gonna get someone to phone you to talk about you not seeing your child.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, I'm not being funny, but it should be if I don't see my child, I do believe money should be conducted from the child support money because the father's not seeing. Because I believe if that happened, you see a lot of mothers wouldn't be stopping them not to see their fathers.
It's true. It's true.
Again.
So yeah, I remember that time now where that happened.
So she stopped you from seeing your child.
Yeah. So what it was is she didn't stop me like for a certain amount of time. It would be like a pick and choose kind of thing. Maybe just depending on. Sometimes it felt like depending on how she was feeling. Sometimes it would be like, cool, I'm out.
Be more difficult.
Yeah. Like it was more about being difficult. Okay, I was supposed to have him one day, and then no, you're not having him this week. I'm doing something. I'm busy. It's like, well, hold on. We
made
already
arrangements.
discussed that. So why are you putting your personal feelings now into mine and my son, like getting in between mine and my son's relationship? So it was a lot of that for many years, like literally. Like what, about 4 years?
And you never thought about going to mediation, to court?
Okay, yeah. So I did go mediation.
Okay.
So I called mediation. I think it was back in 2019 or so. No, I'm lying. 2018 or something. And done it. Got the stamp, all that. But she was having a baby at the time.
So she got pregnant from someone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's happened now. And I think because I kept trying to avoid court so much is why it took so long to get things to where it needed to be.
So when you're talking about avoiding court, was you avoiding court because you just didn't like the authorities, or was it more like a financial thing?
Definitely financial.
Yeah.
Like, just the thought of it is just off-putting. Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's where why a lot of dads do endure like a lot of the things that they go through with their child's mum if they're having difficulties based on the finances to take that step. The authority side, I wasn't too bothered. It was more her that was bothered about. She would always be like, no, I don't want someone telling me how I should parent, etc., etc. Where me, I was just more like, I don't care, because at the end of the day, like, I'm feeling like you're the one that's being more difficult. 100. I can't see my son, so I need someone to tell you, he's gonna see his son this day, that day, and whatever. But definitely it was just the finances. I'm thinking, cool, how am I gonna get this money? I didn't even know how much it cost. I just knew it cost a lot. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I let it kind of go on for a long period of time. Like I said, there's times we was good, and then something would just go wrong. Obviously, there's been my parts to it with, like the back and forths.
So was you seem like a guy who seems to entertain the argument. So if she says something to you, you entertain it. So you just back in and say, I ain't got time for this. It's like you get yourself roped in. It's like you don't want to lose the battle for some reason.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point. I was like that for a long time. And now I realize, just don't give a reaction. Just leave it. Like, but I did used to be like that. I would literally be like, I'd see a message and the anxiety I'll get from a message. And, I'd have, let's say I'm with someone, they'd be like, no, don't reply. Something in me just cannot
hold
let
back.
it go. Like, no, I have to say this. Like, I can't. And I think sometimes, especially in like my situation, it was that. She wanted a reaction. She wanted to get me wound up. She wanted to, whether it was at the time I would feel like attention or making my life, whatever it was, it's like I was giving that to her.
Yeah, you're feeding into it.
Yeah. And definitely something I, say not to do. Like I just say,
I'll give you advice, and I can also say this to every man who's watching this. My mum taught me from young, never argue with a woman. That's the first thing, bro. Yeah, I've had it in the past where, obviously I've had my child's mothers in the past who messaged me. They would tell you, they talk to themselves. I do not respond to any message. I will look at it, and there might be times I want to say something back, but bro, I just don't engage. Because when you engage, that's what gives them the weapons to lose against you. Oh, you're not seeing your child now, or you said this to me because. It's all emotions what you're dealing with. So I'm trying to tell you.
100%.
So I'm just saying it to all fathers of you. You gone through it, but as I said, bro, don't engage with arguing with a woman. You're always gonna lose the argument.
It's true. It's always gonna get spun on you, even if you was in the right. Somehow you're in the wrong,
bro.
Like, you're right still. Bro. No, that's good advice. I can't even lie. But so there was a lot of that, and then the turning point. With me and her, I'll say, is last year. So things was better in terms of me seeing my son. I was seeing him like consistent, and that in terms of her being consistent with me, like seeing him, there wasn't like, no, you're not gonna see him.
So the co-parent was trying to get healthy.
It was working. Okay, but we wasn't at a good point, like where we could, let's say bust a joke or something. Like we weren't at that stage, but do you know what I mean? And then me and her had a conversation last year, and she was saying that my son was talking about he wanted to live with me. So I was like, okay. I was like, that's fair enough. And she would keep bringing it up. So me and my son, she then called me one day. My son was with me. And she said, like, he's saying again, like, he wants to live with you. Can you talk to him? I said, all right, cool, I'll talk to him. So I took him to his room. Me and him spoke. I was like, do you want to, like, would you be all right? Like, if you wanted to live with me, like, your mum saying, you want to live with me? Da, da, da. He's like, yeah, I want to live with you. I'm like, all right, then cool. So a part of me, I'm kind of happy. I'm like, like, my son's going to be, like, living with me and that. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm thinking good. So then, cool, I've gone to drop him back on that same day now, and I've gone to the house and he's gone in, chatting to his mum. I'm like, so obviously I spoke to him, but hold up. When she opened the door, I felt like there was something off.
Yeah, the energy.
And maybe I should have said it at a different time, but obviously she asked me to say it, innit? So, do you know what I mean? Chat to him. So I thought, right, cool, I'm going to talk to you about it. So I've now spoke to her. I said, like, he's saying that he wants to live with me. Obviously, she's not taken to that too great, which I understand. Like, no one's going to want to hear their child's now saying, like, you're
not going to live on the other side.
You're going to think there's something wrong with you or what you're doing. So, like, she's not happy about it. She's basically she's like, okay, cool. Like, he can just go with you now, then. And I'm like, no, like, I need things need to be done properly.
Put it all in place.
I was like, no, things need to be done properly. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I live in over here, you live all the way over here. Like, what about school and them things? Like, I can't just take him. And she's like, no, this is, basically what you want. And then, we started arguing. She started bringing up some other stuff.
Some old stuff.
Yeah. So now it's kind of getting off topic a bit. She had said to my son, do you want to go now? And my son said, yeah. And she said something, I'm not going to say what she said, but what she said angered me. And it angered me because of what my son has already been through, what he's had to witness, experience, and the fact that he was now being made to feel a way or bad that he wants to do something. So when she said what she said, my blood boiled differently. I booted her door, and she was by the door.
So the door licked her?
I mean, it didn't lick her, but...
Well, the police got called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you know?
if she was calling you if she was calling the police on you and previous other things, that ain't gonna hold her back for calling them. So so the allegation when the police came down this time, the allegations were you kicked the door on her, was you acting aggressively?
No, I just kicked the door, and then she shut the door. I was knocking on it, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call the police." I said, "All right, cool."
Call the police because you're angry. So you was angry, so you're like, go and call the police. And then you're standing there waiting for them to come.
Yeah. Oh, you know the thing already. You know the thing. So I waited, like you said, because I thought, I'm not going back home and then having police come to my door or nothing like that. So obviously they've come now. I've explained the situation to them. They said, to be honest, they was actually all right. They didn't, they didn't say like what I done was.
Sorry to interrupt the program, but we have to give a shout out to today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is I Love to Party, who does corporate events, birthday parties, weddings. Anyone who's looking for a photo booth, magic mirror booth, 360, make sure you check them out in the link in the description below. Make sure you quote Baby Fathers to get 10% off. All right, so that's today's sponsor. I Love to Party, which you can see on our screen here. Make sure you get at them for 10% off for your next event.
Because of the situation, how it happened, they said like, cool, it's understandable. Like at least it was the door that you kicked in it. I'm like, yeah. And obviously they went in, spoke with her, etc., etc. And then I'm telling them like, cool, she's saying I can come take my son. So like, let me just take him now then. Obviously she's saying no, he's not going with you now. Obviously before she's saying go with him, now she's saying no, he's not going with you.
But remember, you did turn and tell her that he wasn't taking the child either.
Yeah, I know. But you get it.
So now you're saying
I
know, but obviously you're angry at the time, innit? So you're just like, pass my child now. I'll go back my business.
Got you. So obviously now I'm trying to be all smart with it. I'm like, but I'm on the birth certificate and that. Like, what? She's like, but that don't matter. Like, she's technically in like,
she's got the full custody of him. They usually say the mother has full custody of the child, even still with the father, but you just don't live with each other.
So then she said, cool, you need something legal in place. Like, if you have something legal, then we could have. So then from that point there, I was like, yeah, cool. I'm just going to court. I've just had enough of this. Like this can't go on.
Just to stop you there, you didn't get arrested or nothing?
No, I didn't get arrested.
Oh, that's fine. Continue.
No. So from that point, I just started putting things in place, made arrangements. Obviously, to begin with, it was trying to get my son to come live with me because that's what I thought, he wanted.
And did you go through social service to do that, or did you go straight to court? What was the process?
I tried. So I then decided to go court, got a solicitor. And my solicitor advised me, go do mediation again. Within that time, my son's now telling me he don't want to live with me no more. So I'm in two minds because I'm thinking, cool, is it you don't want to live with me now because your mum's maybe said stuff to you?
Yeah.
Or is it you're 6 years, I think he was 6 at the time, sorry. You're 6 years old, you don't really know what you want like that. So went mediation anyway. Everything was cool in terms of arrangements, like pickups, when I would see him, all that kind of stuff, except from the fact that he weren't going to live with me. So I was like, nah, cool, I'm just going to go court then. And then, my son seemed very adamant that he didn't want to live with me. So I said, all right then, that's fine. Like, but I'm still going court because I still want something legal in place to say this is what it's gonna be. It's not gonna be
controlled by her anymore. When you can, when you can't, and you're kind of the bullshit now. You want something in place. I get to see my child at this time on this day without you controlling my life anymore.
Exactly. So I still went through with it. Went to court. We was talking about, so we got something called a consent order in place, where we both had our input, agreed to what we wanted, birthdays, holidays, all these kind of things, the way that we should speak with each other, so much was kind of put into it.
But you need to, though, if you want to be very specific and break down.
Yeah,
Even still, you might think it's silly.
Yeah.
You still have to put that down because that's what the agreement is on that paper.
Yeah, and even just like, you know, even just like little things like how you talk to each other, it's been good. Do you know what I mean? Because it always gives you that thing of like, actually, let me not go and act like that. I've got this in place. It's legal. I don't want no fine. I don't want this. And then, you know, gradually you just kind of get used to them kind of things. I think.
So would you more base that on talking to each other with respect?
100%. I think like just, you know, just none of the shouting and like the calling names and
the little jabs, the little
like
triggers, so you know you can trigger them off.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just long. Like there's just no need. Like just talk to each other. Like I don't like, you know, I see it like now, you know, like this is someone that you've had a child with. Like, do you know what I mean? Like maybe some was in relationships, maybe some wasn't. But like at the end of the day, like it don't need to be like all hostile and like, oh, what now all of a sudden you lot don't like each other.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? Like same way you would chat to, you know, like your manager or whoever, like you're working together. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like there's just ways to deal with things. So yeah, definitely just chatting with respect. And
I think so as well, like kids look and pick up on things like that. So what you don't want to happen is for your child to feel awkward when they've got both parents. Because if they do see both parents are able to get along with each other, that child feels more relaxed and more at ease. But if the mum and dad are doing like the arguing and the little bickering and the little small jabs, the child feels awkward. And then that child doesn't even feel comfortable with both parents because they don't even know what they're going to get today.
Bro, that's exactly what happened with me and like my situation. My son, his anxiety is, do you know what I mean? Like he's obviously, he's improved now, but before it was literally that. It was, we would be together and my son's acting mad. I'm thinking, why are you acting like this now that when me and your mum are together, even if we're not arguing, like we're just together, like maybe talking, but he's acting out. And I didn't understand why until like obviously later on. I understand that it's that anxiety and that uncomfortable feeling of, oh, like,
not knowing gonna get
what's gonna happen. Oh, like, do you know what I mean? And you know, that's something that I've like, you know, like I said, he's getting better with it, but that's something that pains me in a sense because I'm like, I've contributed to that. Do you know what I mean? So that makes me feel some type of way. But you know, since me and her have had our consent order in place and the whole court thing, me and her like
good now.
Our relationship is mad. Like
mad in good.
Yeah, mad is mad is in good. Like we get along. I'm very like I've always been involved, but she keeps me very informed. Like I'm very present. You know, like I said, I see improvements in my son. I see improvements with her. Obviously, myself, I don't have that. You know, anxiety.
You're guard up. You're guard up every minute.
Anxiety. I don't have that. You know, the draining like mentally and emotionally and all of these things. It's just cool. Like she'll call me and I know that it's not gonna be. What I mean? Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
do you base that from growth between you lot? Is that because you went court? Like, what would you base that on to see that progress between the three of you?
I definitely say it was growth. I definitely say it was court as well, but just because I think it was just an eye opener for us both to see that. Because when we was going court, what had happened is with Kafkas, when obviously when you're going court, Kafkas, the chart, I don't know the whole breakdown, but when they get involved now and they
just write a report.
They do the reports and that. But they had to interview us both when we got to court because they was concerned about certain things that had come up in the report. So they was unsure whether to go through with the consent order and approve it or to basically take it further, which they was talking about a section 7, which is like they're like more involved, like they want to know where you live, you know, they want to interview you, the child, like everything. And I went on that and she went on that. He was like, no. And even they were saying, like, to me, it just seems like you lot just up and down. Like 1 minute you lot are good, next minute you're not. So we don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
And obviously we had to argue our case like, no, like if we have something in place, like
be better on both sides.
Yeah, we can get this right. Do you know what I mean? Because she doesn't feel that, you know, I might be taking the mick, or she doesn't feel like, you know, like we can just basically get things.
One question was that she was going to ask you is, how are you with the other child's father, her partner, her other baby father?
So
what's the relationship between you two like? Because obviously he's around your child, isn't it?
So from my understanding, he's not been around like that. Okay. I don't know the ins and outs in terms of their relationship, even if they like really have one. But I was aware that he was around for a bit, but not in that way. So he was there, but just not as them two together. Yeah. So he weren't playing that kind of role to my son.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not really been a relationship. Not met him. Don't know. Obviously, I have had conversations with her to say like, cool, like I want to know like who it is. You know. Why is he around my son? Is he going to be good enough for my son to, like, is there going to, like, will he benefit being around this guy?
Do you feel that it's wrong for you to answer these things when you're talking to the mum, or do you feel you should be having this conversation of my guy?
Yeah, it's a bit of both, really. I think both. I think it all just depends on how it's done. Because if, let's say I'm going to my guy now and I'm coming with a different sort of posture, like my body language
energy is different. Energy is different. A bit. It's a bit off.
Yeah, and I'm talking to you with that sort of energy, then it's not done in the right way. But if it was a thing like it was more relaxed and
all right, so let me ask you this question then. So you're coming to a man. You're coming on the peace tip, but you just want to know about my situation.
Yeah.
If I'm giving you off the wrong energy, how are you then going to present back to myself? Are you going to just talk calmly still, or is your energy going to change a bit?
I think my energy probably would change after a while. If it was like continuous, like there was no sort of like, he was like, all right, cool, let me chill, then it probably would, because I'm going to see it as, you know, this is my son that you're trying to, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm the dad. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, why are you coming on some, do you know, on that kind of wavelength? Yeah, I probably would, my energy would definitely change. Because then I'd be thinking, cool, like, I've come to you on, you know.
On a man to man.
Yeah, and this is how you're acting. So how am I going to feel comfortable with you now
being around my child,
around my son, if me and you can't even have a conversation? So yeah, my energy would definitely change.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Well, listen. So obviously you're co-parenting. It's going fine now.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like you've done a lot of searching in yourself because you're able to admit the stuff that you have done.
Yeah.
You recognized, and you found growth, and were able to get along with the mum, and everyone seems to be in a good place now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Now I believe you have a Instagram. Obviously you're out here helping out fathers.
Yeah.
What's the name of that?
StandUpFathers.
And what's that about? Tell us about that.
So it's something that I'm currently developing. I want to turn it into a CIC.
Okay.
But what I'm aiming to do is basically just help empower, support co-parenting dads through a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the trials, tribulations. I've got like a lot of services that I want to offer.
Okay.
I don't really want to give too much detail in terms.
That's fine. That's fine.
But, yeah, definitely, like, you know, like going through all of that and knowing that there's so many other dads that go through it, And when I was going through it, I didn't have a lot of support. I just felt like alone in it.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be able to have something where, you know, if there is some dads
educating and being supportive to fathers who need help.
Yeah.
If they are in a situation that you can provide that service to them.
Yeah. Just based off of my experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, our certain situations will be different, but, you know, I feel like just going through what I've been through, there's stuff that I can offer people that are going through the exact same thing, like dads that are going through the same thing, and do you know what I mean, just to help them grow within themselves as well.
Wicked. That's good, man. So tell them the page.
It's StandUpFathers.
That's on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna attach that to this video.
Yeah.
So underneath it, we're gonna attach it, and then obviously click on it and make sure you follow my guy. All right. Anything more to say, brother, before we shut down?
Nah, man. You know, just it's been great conversating with you.
Definitely.
Man. You know what I mean? You just kept it real. Told me a couple things about me that, you know what I mean? That, advice and that. Like, yeah, nah, man. I appreciate it though, man.
No, that's cool, man. I said thanks for coming on, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Just keep up the good work.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. As you know, we're just out here trying to help fathers and help people and trying to help them with their life just through our experiences. We are not, what's that word? Advisors.
Yeah.
Right? We're just people just talking from our experiences. And just trying to help fathers who may be stuck out there.
Yeah, that they can just relate to, isn't it?
Done.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we want to hear your lot's views on today's episode. Make sure you drop it on the comments below. All right. Make sure you subscribe, share the channel. And to next time, make sure you like as well. So to next time from the Baby Fathers, peace. We out, man.